Hello everybody. I'm back on Workshops. I was on last Tuesday, so it's the following Monday, so it's like 6 days later. Weather hasn't been too bad, a bit of rain last night, but it's not been too bad, no ice. Went out and bike for the first time yesterday, got blathered in mud. I don't think there's been a frost since it thawed out last week. There's one forecast for tonight, but then after that it's going to be nice during the day. I'm sat here now, put thermals on, I'm absolutely red hot. It says it's about 6 degrees. There's a little bit of breeze, but it feels a lot warmer. And tomorrow it's going to be even warmer with 8 hours of sun. So not bad fishing weather, considering we're still in the middle of February. So I've had rods in about half an hour. It's 1 o'clock. Didn't rush up right this morning. Came off nights yesterday, so I had a line this morning. Got up about 10. Took it steady. Got gear here. No rush. Plan on doing 24 hours. If it looks good, fishing wise, might stay 48. Come on, same peg again, Mr. Dunwell. Peg one peg fill as he knows me at the moment. It's an easy one to get to. You've got a lot of options in front of you off peg 1. I did have last week, I'm limited now. There's an angler up middle at flood bank, peg 7. Gave him a ring when I got here. He's left-hand rods. I don't know. He said I could go to probably Ireland here. It's only 30 yard out. So I told him where I got them fish from last week. So he's just put his rods back out onto them spots where I was getting them last week. But don't mean they're still there. 6 days later, it's been a lot milder. It was say like last week before I did it. It just thawed out that morning. In fact, where if I would get it, fish were side icing it that morning. Warmed up a bit, so they could move about. It don't necessarily mean they're still there. But then again, they could be. I'd have definitely put a couple of rods over there if there had been nobody else here. So I've put 2 out. Same line, but say I can only fish to about 30 yard out. I'm about 40 yard short of where I was getting them. Probably 70 yard, I'd have said. And my left hand rod, I've put it on my little spot that I have off at Snags, that little hard spot. Put my left hand rod there. If sun gets out tomorrow, I think what temperatures get up to, like I say, it's going to the next couple of days. I'd like to think that they'd move into those snags. You never know, do you? So that's planned for now. So it's mild. There's going to be no rain for next week. I think the rain that we've had, that's it now. Probably had about 5 mil last night. It's going to drop cold tonight. I think this is the only frosted week, so after that it's forecast for like 2s on a night, 8, 9, 10s during the day. Pretty good for for February. Then when I left last week, I had them 3 pickups. Only got one in, like a numpty. I'm going to do a little bit with my pop-up rigs. I'm not totally happy with how they sit sometimes. I've got a way of getting around that, I think. Say last week, when I started getting pickups, I was confident putting rods back out, I'm going to get another pickup. It's a week later, fish could be anywhere. Let's start all over again. So I'd like to think I can have one fishing net for morning. Lad that's on flood bank, he got here yesterday morning, so he's done 24 hours. He had a stocky in the middle of the night. There was a guy, when I came down on bike, I came by here yesterday. A guy fishing on here, just for day, he hadn't had out. But he said there was a guy on here. He told me there was a guy on here fishing at weekend, and he'd had a fish off at Snags. And then lad who was on flood bank told me a kid that were on here at weekend had fish from in front of him. So you never know, do you? You've just got to try you've just got to go with your instinct and just try and find where they are. I think if I find them, I'll catch them. I'm confident of that. I'm confident that if I can find them, I can catch them. It's just finding them. So I'll get back to you later. Hopefully with something to report. Probably just before dark. I'll do a little catch up with video, which is probably going to be another 4 hours. So I'll catch you later. Ta-da. So yeah, that's the flood bank there. Along there, there's about 5 or 6 swims, and everybody fishes over to these little islands here, and then snags over there. That's where they normally fish. Where I was getting the fish from last week, that pylon over there, the bigger, the taller, well, the tallest one, the closest one to us in line with there, that's where I was picking fish up, about 70 yard out. So yeah, you've got flood bank. Never really fish at flood bank. I just don't like it. I don't know why. I think fish spend a lot of time in these snags and down this, where these little islands are, patrolling up and down. I think a lot of fish spend the times down there. So I just don't fish it. That bank over there, there's a few anglers piking it. Leeds City Council, they have a ticket for, they bring like handicapped people, I think it is, that, you know, do a bit of piking. Never really fish them swims. Or there's a lovely lily bed comes up right in the corner. The last peg on that bank over there is known as Muddy Peg. I love that peg. It's a really nice peg. There's reed bed down right inside of it where it's shallow and margins. You can fish to that, and then there's snags. You can fish to them. There's 2 fall where those snags are over there. There's 2 fallen boughs, trees. You can't cast over them from either side. So really, it's a no. There's no way you can fish it. It's probably size. I call it the tennis court. It's the size of a tennis court. It holds fish all the time. You can sit there in summer and watch them just bosh, but you can't see anything shore rest at lake, and in there they'll be bosh, bosh, bosh. I've never even put a lead in it. I won't mind going out back just flicking a lead in, because I bet it's rocky hard in there. I bet they've cleared it all out. They spend a lot of time in there. And then wood swims over there. There's 2 double swims over there. That one's the left-hand one as well. Looking at it, there's got that big reed bed there, and it's quite shallow, 1-2 foot, and then it grades off as you come towards snags. When it's summer, it must hold a lot of fish. Never really fished it. I fished it once, but it must hold a lot of fish. Just way out, you see a little breeze going in there. Can you imagine if that was summer? A little warm breeze going in there. You can imagine it draw a lot of fish in there. And then there's a swim over there, which I do fish. I do a lot of day sessions in there. Not necessarily night sessions, but if I come for day, I'll try and get in there. I'm fished at fallen boundary at tennis courts. They sometimes come from underneath, slip up a bit. I've had 7-8 fish on a day session from over there. So it can be good fishing during the day. So that's it really. There's another, as you look down from where I am, there's another I don't know, 3 pegs down there, little 3 swims. But then they've got these islands over here, which I don't know, they just don't appeal to me, don't them swims. So really, there's 3 swims I usually fish on this lake. This one, the Muddy Peg one, which is straight across, and the first peg as you go into the woods, so you can fish to tennis, what I call tennis court. They're the real 3 swims I fish. Sun's on its way down. 20 past 4, we're dark in an hour. No signs of life. Move my middle of my right hand rod round a bit, as much as I can. Not getting any liners, no signs. Put them both same distance, 30-35 yard out. Maybe about 5 yard apart, and I've just put a bit of bait around them as much as I can for gold. My left hand rod fishing towards snags. As ever, confidence pretty low. You never know. Really his last light now. I've just had a couple of good liners on my right hand rod. Isn't it unusual then? A couple of good liners on my right hand rod. I think gulls are sat over the top of it. How many times has that happened? How many times are you fishing and birds, you know, settle over the top of where you're fishing? And these gulls, I mean, you know, sometimes I think the fish churn a little bit, so there's little bits of shit float to the top. And even though they aren't doing all them gulls, like sometimes you get that bit of shit, you know, float to the top. These are eating them. I don't know. But it just seemed odd. But yeah, I'm glad I had them couple of liners. At least that's given me a bit of confidence. Wait till it gets dark and then I'm going to put a bit more bait out. Pointless now because gulls just to start taking it. Yeah, that'll be it definitely now while morning. Capture them. Morning. It's 10 o'clock. 17th February. As you can see, it's a bit of a ripple got up, flying straight at me. Nice blue skies, cleared off last night, so just as it was getting dark. Had a good frost this morning, which has cleared already with sun. Just got me breakfast on, with a porridge to warm my insides up and a coffee. So yeah, right hand rod. Started getting a few liners on it, didn't I, when I reported last. Getting a couple of liners on right hand rod. Before I went to bed last night at 10:30, it was away. Lifted into it, felt a good fish. Went through my left hand rod, so I made a bit of a mare getting it in net, but managed to get it in net. Bit of a warrior. Not like it had seen hard times. Marks down its flanks and on its shoulders. But it was sprightly, it gave up a decent fight. Did photographs. Got it back, went off like a torpedo as soon as I put it back in water. £20.10 mirror. So yeah, maggots. I had maggots on snag. I had a sniff, brought that in this morning. Put a Nature's Bait white ice pop up on, little bag of alpha. What I've done is I've moved my right hand rod further right. So now my left hand rod is fishing where my right hand rod was, and my other two rods are just at right of there. Just see if that's where they are. I think they're still in the same place they were last week. It's just talking to a lad on Floodbank this morning on phone, and he had a stocky and he lost one last night, but he said he was getting liners all night, so it looks like they're still in the same place. They're still over there, 70 yards away from me, in line with that pylon. Way out of my water. I've got literally, I can cast about 40 yards. That's my boundary. While there's a guy on Floodbank. Don't kettle off. So I can really only go about 40 yards. So I'm at max, like all three rods are on about 40 yard mark. Straight in front, roughly where I've tried getting a bit of bait around again, but seagulls do your head in. So roughly where seagulls are, that is when I'm fishing. My left hand rod's in line with that fallen tree on the bow, the tall tree on the fallen bow. And as I said, up to the first island, so roughly where gulls are, maybe just a bit beyond gulls. So yeah, just held on redent rods, fingers crossed now. I pick some up, it's forecast for a nice day.